Hello student, class 9. Today I am going to start a new chapter, that is chapter 3. I hope you have done chapter 2 in a proper way. Enough video has been sent to you. It depends upon you that how much you are taking, how much you are getting the knowledge. And this is the third chapter because in your syllabus for half yearly some portion of third chapter is also there. So what is the third chapter? Atoms and molecules. About atoms and molecules, that what are atoms and what are molecules I am not going to say, because these things you are learning from very junior classes. That atom is the building block of any element, is the smallest particle. When two or more than two atoms combine, they form molecule. Molecule can be of same element, molecule can be of compound. Okay. Now here I am going to discuss about law of chemical combination. Today my topic is law of chemical combination. There are certain law which governs how the elements are going to combine to form a compound through a chemical reaction. Chemical reaction means chemical change in which a totally new substance is going to form from the existing substances. So elements are going to combine chemically to give you the product, and that is governed by certain rules, and those rules are known as law of chemical combination. For combining, these rules are going to be followed, and we have found experimentally that this is true for each and every case. Today I am going to discuss 3 rules, although in your book 2 rules are there. One extra rule that you are going to learn in higher class, but I am going to give you hint about that rule also. Before that rule, actually Dalton's postulates, Dalton's atomic model should be known, but then also as I am going through the topic that law of chemical combination, so together only I am going to give you the 3 rules. The first rule is law of conservation of mass. Actually this rule all of you know. Law of conservation of mass is followed everywhere. Simple law of conservation of mass in terms of physics, I can say that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can be converted from one form to another. That means mass is going to remain same as conservation of energy. Conservation of energy is related with conservation of mass, but in terms of chemical combination, what is conservation of mass? During any chemical change, the total mass of the product is equal to the total mass of the reactant. Again I am saying, law of conservation of mass states that during any chemical change, the total mass of the product is equal to the total mass of the reactant. So this is the definition for law of conservation of mass. This you have to know, this you have to learn. How to prove law of conservation of mass? By taking an example. So I have taken the example for the formation of water. Okay. So how water is formed? H2 plus O2 give you H2O, but I have balanced the equation because without balancing there is no meaning of this equation. So 2H2 plus O2 gives you 2H2O. This is the balanced chemical equation for the formation of water. Another thing I want to say that before coming to the main topic of this chapter, you have to remember the atomic masses and atomic number of certain elements. For you in class 9 up to atomic number 20, it should be learned by you. The elements whose atomic number starts from 1 up to 20, you have already learned in previous class. Then also I am saying that before coming to the main topic, the atomic number of elements from 1 to 20 and atomic mass from same 1 to 40, you have to remember, you have to learn by heart. So here I was saying that law of conservation of mass by taking example. Mass of one hydrogen atom is 1, mass of 2 hydrogen is 2, 2 into 2 is 4. So total mass of 2H2 is coming as 4. Okay. Now oxygen, mass of one oxygen atom is 16 AMU. So mass of 2 oxygen is 16 into 2, 32 AMU, atomic mass unit. Here water has been formed, 2 multiplied with the mass of water molecule. Hydrogen is having mass 2, oxygen is having mass 16. So 2 plus 16 into 2, actually it is 2 into 18, that is 36. So this side you can find 4 plus 32 is 36 and that side also 36. So it is according to the law of conservation of mass. According to the law of conservation of mass, mass of product is equal to mass of reactant. So both sides I can find the answer is coming as 36. So this proves the law of conservation of mass. Instead of this, if you take any other example, you will get the same kind of answer. Okay. Now second law, that is called law of constant proportion. What does this law states? Law of constant proportion or law of definite proportion. A pure chemical compound is made up of the same elements combined together in fixed proportion by mass. Again I am saying law of constant proportion or law of definite proportion. It states that a pure chemical compound is made up of the same elements combined together in fixed proportion by mass. Pure chemical compound, it is made up of same elements. Every time the same elements are combined in fixed ratio to give you the compound. Suppose I am making water. Okay. If I make 100 liter of water, if I make 200 liter of water, if I make 50 liter of water, if I take hydrogen and oxygen in a lab to make it in one lab, in separate lab I am making water by taking hydrogen and oxygen. So every time whatever may be the amount of water, I will left behind the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen by mass as a fixed whole number. That will never be changed. We generally found that hydrogen and oxygen always combine in the ratio of 1:8 by mass. Every time the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen by mass will be 1:8. Whatever may be the amount of water, whatever may be the amount of hydrogen and oxygen. I can explain it from here also. Here 4, mass is 4. Suppose this is 4 gram and this one is your 32 gram. So 4 gram of hydrogen is combining with 32 gram of oxygen to give you water. What is the ratio of mass of hydrogen to oxygen? 4:32. So if I cut, I will get 8, 1:8. The answer is coming 1:8. So instead of 4 gram, if you take some other amount, whatever amount you are going to take, every time you are going to left behind with the same ratio. And this is known as law of constant proportion. So 2 law I have already explained. Now I am going to explain about the third law. Okay. I am going to explain the third law, that is law of multiple proportion. This is a complicated law, but if you understand this from now, it will be easier for you to learn the subject properly and to do the chemical reaction properly. So what does this law states? When two elements A and B form two different compounds, two elements are there, A and B, they form two different compounds. The masses of element B that combined with a fixed mass of element A can be expressed as a ratio of small whole numbers. You can pause the video and write down the definition. I am saying it again. When two elements A and B form two different compounds, the masses of element B that combine with a fixed mass of element A can be expressed as a ratio of small whole numbers. Now suppose two elements A and B, they are combining in different way to form AB. AB2, AB3 like this. Okay. Same elements are combining, but they are combining in different way and giving you different compounds. Now according to the law, if the amount of A is fixed, if A is fixed in all these, then what amount of B is combined to form AB, what amount of B is combined to form AB2, what amount of B is combined to form AB3. Suppose the amount of B I am taking as X ratio Y ratio Z. That means suppose mass of B is combining to form AB. Y mass of B is combining to form AB2. Z mass of B is combining to form AB3. So according to the question, X ratio Y ratio Z, this is always in whole number. This ratio will come in whole number. Okay, so this is all about the law. Now I am going to explain mathematically. Suppose carbon and oxygen, they are going to combine to form, carbon and oxygen may combine in two different ways to form two different compounds. Carbon and oxygen combining to form carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. You know it very well. Now experimentally it has been found that if I keep the amount of carbon as 1 gram, that is fixed. So it has been found that 1.33 gram of oxygen combining with 1 gram of carbon to give you carbon monoxide, and 1 gram of carbon is combining with 2.67 gram of oxygen to give you carbon dioxide. Now this number, from where I am getting, I can get it from the atomic mass only. We know that carbon is having atomic mass as 12 and oxygen is having atomic mass as 16. So 12 gram of carbon, if combining to form 16 gram, combining with 16 gram of oxygen, 1 gram of carbon will combine with how much gram of oxygen? By unitary method I got this number. Similarly, 12 gram of carbon is combining with 32 gram of oxygen. So that means 1 gram of carbon is combining with 2.6 gram of oxygen. So now what I will do, I will find out the ratio of these two masses. It has been told that ratio of element B in two different ways, that will be a symbol whole number. So if I do 2.67 by 1.33, so it will come as 2:1. Instead of 6:7, it can be 6:6. This kind of negligence can be done. So my answer is coming as 2:1. So this is simple whole number ratio. So this only has been proved by this law. According to this law, when two elements are combining in different way to form different compounds, if one element's mass is going to be fixed, then the mass of other element which are combining to form the different compounds, their ratio will be a simple whole number. Okay, understood? So this is all about my 3 laws, and these laws will help you later, and this is very important from the point of view of this chapter. All the 3 laws are very important. You have to again study these laws in class 11. Okay, so try to remember it properly and pause the video to do it again and again. Okay, thank you students.